Welcome everyone to the second installment of Booker T TV series, Guitars. And in this segment, I want to introduce to you this guitar. This is a Gibson J-45. Gibson started this series in the 1940s. This particular one was given to me by the bass player with the MGs, Donald Duck Dunn. A beautiful gift. And so it's over 50 years old. It's just a Gibson guitar. In the last installment, we introduced the Martin M38. It's an exquisite instrument, but this one is considered the workhorse. I've heard people say, if it's not a Gibson, it's not good. Maybe you've seen this guitar in the hands of someone like Elvis Presley or Donovan or Bruce Springsteen or great blues guitar, Lightning Hopkins. I was just a boy around the age of 5. My mama said to me, "You're gonna be the greatest man alive." And now I'm a man way past 21. I wanna tell you right now, I've had lots of fun, 'cause I'm a man. So that's the Gibson J-45. It's a beautiful instrument.
Love it.
So what do you think about this instrument, Ted? Obviously, I've had the pegs replaced. It's been dropped 1,000 times, and it's been on the road, and it's very much used.
I think you have two of them, and I just looking behind me here, I don't see any J-45 in this household. Yeah, no, it's a gorgeous guitar. I mean, I'm surprised we were talking before filming that you haven't recorded this one either. This is the first time it's been recorded, and it's such a gorgeous sounding instrument as well. I do think the Martin has a special sound, but the J-45 also has a classic sound with the artist that you mentioned. And you can't go wrong with it, and you had that for quite some time, and it's still doing well.
Made in Memphis. It's not an easy guitar to acquire. New, you'd probably have to spend $3,000, maybe $3,500. However, this one, I have $7,000 or $8,000 worth of J-45s, and I spent very little money for them. During the early 80s, during the terrible recession when interest rates went up to 18%, there was a used car salesman in San Fernando Valley that put this guitar, advertised this guitar for sale, and I think I gave him less than $200 for it. I'll show it to you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
a little below market value, I'd say.
And as you can see, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful instrument, and he was glad to get my $200.
Little did he know what it was.
Made in Memphis. So it's an acquisition. And it's beautiful sound, and it never goes out of tune. Anyway, what age do you think is a good age to start playing guitar? I am of the opinion that children should, if they can, start early in music because of muscle memory. And I know I have a lot of muscle memory in my body. People tell me I walk around doing my fingers like this all the time. So I was wanting to get your opinion. I have a dental technician who bought guitars for her 6 and 8-year-old daughters, and I think that's great because they're going to grow up with those instruments, and their hands will develop the muscles that are necessary, the strength that you need here.
Mm-hmm.
But you started much later, so you have a different experience, and now you're a professional guitarist. So tell me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I think first and foremost, whether you start as a kid or whether you start like I did a bit later, a guitar is a friend. It's a companion, and I think people who love it the most play it the most. You know, my twin sister Cicely tried it out for a bit and enjoyed it, but it wasn't a true companion. And I think no matter what age you start playing guitar, if you find companionship with an instrument, with something that can provide you with some music.
That's a great point. That's a great point about the guitar becoming a companion and a friend. Unlike a keyboard here that has maybe 1.5 feet away from you when you're playing it, the guitar is right up next to your body, right up next to your chest. I have a story about this one, or the other one. As I told you, I got that guitar in 1968, and it actually has been a very cherished part of my life, and it does have a persona, you know, like a companion. You can see this guitar survived a 40-foot throw across my living room as I was
Oh my gosh!
walking out the door, about to separate from a woman. And this, you've seen them on the movies where people are throwing out clothes over the balcony down on the street and things and instruments. And this was one of those pieces of of a person's possessions that got thrown.
So you had a J-45 flying through the air.
Yeah, 40 foot across a big living room towards the door, and it hit the door behind me. I opened the door and picked it up, and it survived this. So the instruments are very
Durable.
It still sounds good.
They're durable.
But yeah, it is like it has its own essence, and it was a beautiful, great gift. You know, Ted, I think I'm going to revise my opinion now, because I think any age is a great age to start music.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I now have friends that have started piano in their 50s, or actually after retirement in their 60s. I have a friend up in Washington that started piano, and it has changed his life.
Mm-hmm.
It has given him a way to entertain himself, and it has just brought so much beauty into his life. I have a brother-in-law that plays piano, and any age is a good age to start music. Music is just good for everybody. So I'm going to change my opinion about that.
Okay, I'll accept that revision.
I wanted to also get your thoughts on guitar tablature. You know, my first music lessons were on the piano. My mother hit a C. That's middle C, you know, and then she showed this is what it looks like on the staff, C, and so that was. But on the back of my ukulele package were some diagrams showing you how to play a chord. Those are the first 4 strings of the ukulele are the D, the G, the B, and the E. So it's very similar to a guitar, and that's, I think, why I started loving a guitar. This is your first ukulele chord, a G chord, and on the tablature, you know, there's a dot and then a string, and that's where you put your fingers.
Mm-hmm. I think it makes me think of a funny quote or a funny joke. What's a good way to shut up a guitar player?
Okay.
Do you know?
What's a good way? What's a good? I don't know.
Put some music in front of him or her. Put sheet music in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think guitar tablature was very useful to me when I was learning, and I think in some ways you're learning the scales, and hopefully you would supplant the tablature with theory, so you know why your fingers are doing what they're doing. And I think the why is the biggest reason behind the notes. First, you can learn the notes and the shapes and the and such, but then you want to know the why. And I think once you get into a little bit of the theory, you can start to play notes with a little bit of emotion and intention behind them, because you know what and why you're doing, as opposed to playing with your fingers. You want to play with your ears, and those are two different points in a person's learning journey. Guitar players in particular, I think, learn tablature first, unlike other instruments, right? If you have a piano player, they typically have a broader knowledge of theory, and this is, I might get flamed for this in the comments, but guitar players, you know what I'm talking about too, so don't come for me.
That was one thing that was not taught. I didn't learn that during my 4 years at Indiana. I learned a lot of music theory, 4 years of music theory, and I never had one course in tablature. Not even strumming. So, so I'm not familiar with it. And I think that's one beautiful thing about programs like Logic and Digital Performer, is that you can have your score editor, and then the score can turn it into a tablature, if I'm not mistaken.
Amazing. I haven't used that software yet, but I do know Logic is capable of some pretty mind-blowing things. I'm using it in a pretty rudimentary fashion at the moment to just capture a sound, but Logic has come, and Pro Tools, they've come a long way in terms of the analysis of a sound wave. It's pretty incredible when you think about it.
Yeah. I think we have to publicly give kudos to Apple for paying attention to so many areas of such a huge area, and that's music. And they've done it with sensitivity, and they've done it with great scope in creating their digital audio workstation.
Mm-hmm. It is amazing. I've relied on Logic pretty heavily. I'm just now getting back into Pro Tools a touch, but I think Logic is really user-friendly and has invited probably a lot of people to record themselves for the first time in a little more professional way than GarageBand.
Yeah, and GarageBand, of course, is still included with and incorporated into Logic. So if you have GarageBand files, no problem. You can just download them.
Exactly. Now, do you have a favorite between this J-45 and your other one?
Both of them induced me to play. I'm very comfortable with this. That was a great question. Actually, yes, this is the one. This is the older one. I think this is the 1967 or 68 model, and I think there's something about the way my hand fits around the neck here. I haven't even let go of this cord yet that I've been holding all this time.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know, kind of like the handlebars of a bicycle, I'm not letting go of this guitar. I believe this is the favorite one. And it just looks so strange with these with these gold. I guess the guitar tech, I think this is what I brought into the guitar tech in San Francisco and asked him to put these on. And he looked at me like, okay.
Oh, man. So that was
these on.
Oh, so you put on those.
But, yeah, all these, this guitar has been through, through the mill, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I put the pickup and these, what do you call these, Fred? These nuts. Are these the nuts?
Oh, those are the tuning pegs. It's the opposite side of the tuning pegs. Yeah.
Tuning pegs, yeah. 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 The whole apparatus is new.
A common misconception, in my opinion, about whether or not a guitar stays reliably in tune is regarding the tuning pegs. A lot of people will change the winders and the tuning pegs on their guitar, thinking that a guitar stays in tune mainly at the tuning peg, but in point in fact, it's at the nut of the guitar, and obviously the bridge has a bit to do with it, and the setup.
The nut is this. This is the nut. Is this the nut?
The line, yep, the white bone nut. That Gibson probably has a bone
okay.
nut. So the nut is
And
where the
this is
string.
the bridge down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is. The nut is where the string makes. First time the string makes contact from your fretting finger to the top of the guitar. So it's definitely a big part in the tuning.
I must admit, over the years, this part of the guitar, this whole thing here, has stayed much more user-friendly than the Martin. The Martin has, in the cold weather, these have become more harder, and I have to be a little careful not to do it too fast to cut my finger. But these are still soft and smooth, and I can do this without. So what are these things called right here? These are the.
The frets, yeah.
The frets, yeah.
Your Martin probably needs a fret job. I mean, I don't think it needs to be re-fretted, which is where, literally you take off the strings and you open up each fret and sand the guitar down, and it's almost like a surgery for the guitar when a guitar gets re-fretted. Something a little more popular and typical with electric guitars is re-fretting, especially people who play hard. You'll watch a rig rundown of a touring guitarist who refrets their guitar once a year because they can grind down over time based on playing. But acoustics, there's a lot more finger picking, and it's not, you're not bending quite the same way. And I think playing an acoustic is overall a more delicate experience than an electric, depending on the style, of course.
Yeah, I think maybe also what happened is that I'm in a dry area, and I think maybe the wood actually expanded on my Martin in between these frets and pushed these. I'm not sure why it's more harsh, but I think the wood has actually expanded, or maybe the wood shrunk. I don't know what is dry. It's dry.
Heat would make it
stick
expand
out more.
Mm-hmm. The frets, though. You would need to get those, if you run your thumb and your finger down the fret, and if they feel like they're protruding a bit, and when you're moving your fretting hand, and if it kind of clips your fingers, you would need to have some of those frets filed.
They're not, but they do protrude on the Martin. They do on the M38. Yeah.
It sounds like it needs some TLC, that Martin.
For blues. I was just a boy, around the age of 5. My mama said to me, "You're gonna be the greatest man alive." And now I'm a man, way past 21. I wanna tell you right now, I had lots of fun, 'cause I'm a man. Man. Blues guitar.
Love it.
Well, that one sounds good. What is that you're playing?
This is a Cordoba guitar. I'll just hold it up to my camera here. Let me
It's
get.
beautiful.
I have a little sheet that gives the specs of the guitar.
Did you get that one in Spain?
So this Cordoba, I actually got this guitar at True Tone Music in Santa Monica, and it's completely handmade, and it's like a 7/8 size nylon string guitar.
It's beautiful.
Mahogany back and sides, and a cedar top, and it's rosewood binding. Basically, it's just a classical nylon string guitar that is really nice for finger picking.
one other thing I wanted to mention is one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in the music business was selling my Guild 12-string guitar that I had in 1968. That Guild 12-string was one of the most beautiful sounding instruments I ever owned, and it wasn't worth any amount of money that I got for it.
Why do you think you sold it?
I went through some really hard times financially, and it was worth a lot of money, and you can't do a lot of things with a 12-string that you can a 6-string, but there's so many things that you can't do with a 6-string that you can do with a 12-string. And the Guild was at the top of the line. So I've seen other people with them, and I've seen other people play Guilds on YouTube, and the old ones are just great. I don't even want to think about how much they cost now. I've sold a couple of microphones that were awful. They were bad decisions like that too. I've sold Neumann U87, 67s and 67s. Those, but you can still use those mics. Those are at a studio on Sunset Boulevard. Anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole, like you said, a whole session on microphones. Yeah, I love your J-45s. I plan to get one of my own at some point, but for now I'm just gonna stick with my only non-electric is this nylon string, Cordoba, and it, we played this on Matt Berninger's most recent record, Serpentine Prison, I think, and we also played this on our Note by Note record when Matt Berninger is singing Stardust. This is the
So that's the Cordova. It's beautiful. It's a little bigger than this one, isn't the?
No, it's actually smaller. This is a tiny guitar. It's I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it's 7/8 size, meaning slightly smaller. It almost looks to when I first got this and I brought it home, my fiance Jordan thought it was like a beginner's guitar because it's so small. It's just some classical nylon string guitars are a little smaller in size, and it's very couch friendly. It's such a beautiful guitar to just sit down and play for a while.
Are the nylon strings much bigger?
They are. Yeah, they're thicker in they're thicker in diameter, and they don't have to be changed as often. I think a nylon string guitar it's a little more sensitive, but you don't really do much bending on it. A lot of finger picking.
Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening, and thanks for tuning in. And please excuse me if I ask you to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.